Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how you can easily use 3D software for simple projects at home to precisely model your rooms and furniture. You can design your room layout and check it all fits without having to physically move anything. You can also look up the dimensions of new furniture you've yet to buy so you can see how it looks and if it fits. To begin with, all you need is a tape measure, a piece of paper and something to sketch with. Sketch a simple plan of your room and add measurements. Pay attention to gaps from the wall to the doors and windows. You'll also need to do this for all your furniture. It doesn't matter what units you work in as long as it makes sense to you. I'll be using centimetres for my sketch and metres in Blender. In Blender we're going to add a cube with Shift A. Mine come in at a default 2 metres squared, so I move it up 1 metre on the Z axis as I like it to sit on the floor. Go into Edge Selection in Edit mode and then up here in the Overlays menu enable Edge Length. Next select the faces and resize the box to match the measurements you took in your sketch. A little note here, the room I'm making is actually my bedroom. The dimensions are a little funky compared to most buildings as it's a converted Victorian townhouse with high ceilings and tall windows. Once you've got the overall size of the room, go up to the shading options and enable backface culling. Next select all the faces of the box, hold Alt and press N to bring up the normals menu and select flip. This turns the box inside out, creating your room. With Ctrl R you can add loop cuts to the room and slide them to make extra geometry for any alcoves. If you need to be precise, you can hold down Shift while moving edges to move in smaller increments. Once you have the shell of the room, add the door and a window. Next, I start creating the furniture. I generally find it works best to work from biggest to smallest. It doesn't really matter, but the main goal of this is to understand the layout we have and the floor space available. We don't need to model every item fully unless you want to, boxes will do. As before, with every box I add, I raise it up so it sits properly on the floor. And once resized to the correct dimensions, you can press G, then Shift Z to move it around the floor without changing its height. If you need to rotate things, press R, Z, and then the amount of rotation. After the bed, another cube to block out the wardrobe. We have 2 of these identical in each alcove, so in top view it can just be duplicated and moved in place, not forgetting to restrict to the Z axis with Shift Z. Next, I block out the area where my desk is. It's slightly unusual shape with multiple shelved layers that I may model in later, but for the floor plan it isn't important. Between the end of the desk and my wardrobe is another small unit. I'll reposition everything as nothing is perfectly fitted in the room and I'm not allowing for things like skirting boards etc, though you can if you want to. Either side of the bed are 2 identical bedside units, and lastly on the wall nearest the door is a large bookshelf. It's optional how much more you want to do from here, but it's basically the same procedure. Make a box, correct the dimensions and put it in place. You can later refine the object into what yours looks like if you want to, as I did in the turnaround and stills for this video. Also adding the floating shelf above my bed. You could optionally add in things like power points, radiators and soft furnishings depending on how detailed you want to get. If you found this useful, please subscribe to help my channel grow. Thank you for watching and take care.